All right, so who do we have here with us today? All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Feel free to drop any questions you have in the chat box as we go along. Today, we have a special guest presenter. Her name is Kathy Stafford. She is very involved here with WBENC ORV, and she is also the owner and president of Adventure Promotions based in Lexington, Kentucky. Her story is very unique and inspiring, really. After becoming a single mother, she started her business in her laundry room, and within 6 months, she purchased 13,400 square foot facility located on Regency Road, where she now operates. Amazing growth and like I said, very inspiring. She's grown her business through networking, being involved within her community, and maintaining a high level of integrity and service to get where she is today. And as a result of all her efforts and commitment to others, she was awarded the Women in Business Champion by the Kentucky District Office of the United States Small Business Administration. So awesome resume there. She also was awarded our Rising Star award at this past year's WBEC ORV conference in Columbus. So a little bit about today's webinar. We're going to go over some foundational knowledge about the certification, as well as ways to maximize your certification. So some of the key points will be a little bit of the background, value proposition, advantages to supplier diversity, and then also the benefits of your certification, how you can use that seal, what do prospective people do in our network, how can they get involved with our network and really get the most out of their certification on the regional and on the national level. So starting off, let me make this bigger for you all. Sorry about that. Starting off with that foundational knowledge, WBENC was created in 1997 to serve as the leading national third-party certifier for women business enterprises. We have 14 regional partner organizations. So WBEC ORV, we cover the Ohio River Valley, which includes Ohio, Kentucky, and West Virginia. But we have regional partner organizations all over the country. And once you're a part of the WBENC network, once you get your certification, you can participate in all the events. You don't have to just be limited to ORV. You can participate in New York, California, all over, and really get the most out of your certification. And then we about WBEC ORV in particular, like I said, we're one of 14 RPOs. We just separated from being under the Urban League of Greater Southwestern Ohio, their business development and entrepreneurship department. So now we are our own separate 501(c), but we still do have that relationship with the Urban League. And through that relationship, we can collaborate with their Economic Empowerment Center as well as their Small Business Development Center. So if you all have any questions about how to expand your business, making business plans, we can certainly connect you with our connections at the Urban League for free of charge. And WBEC ORV, we have that number has actually gone up recently. So we are getting closer and closer to 1,100 certified WBEs within our network. And we have over 75 corporate members, which is great in terms of marketing and going after bid opportunities within our network. And does anybody have any questions before I move on? Any questions so far? Okay, no questions. So moving on a little bit more about the value proposition. For the federal mandate for companies doing business with the federal government, it's mandated that they procure 5% of goods and services from women and minority-owned businesses. So these organizations are seeking out businesses like you all. They want to they want to get that number, and if you do your research and you can see a lot of them don't even hit that 5%. So it's really needed for them to work with women businesses and minority-owned businesses. It's in their best interest, and of course, it's in you all's best interest to get these bid opportunities and contracts with them, and we are here to help you bridge that gap. Corporations, they set up supplier diversity programs in a response to that mandate. So you see different supplier diversity and procurement professionals who are heavily involved with our network in order to hit that 5% and really go above that 5% and in response. And then the business model has evolved at different corporations. So for purchase goods and services for women, women make up 80% of the consumer decisions and influence the other 20%. So that's pretty much the entire market, really. And many corporations, government entities, and nonprofit organizations have established inclusion goals as well. So part of our network is more than just corporates. We also have nonprofits and universities. As a WBE, you have an advocate in those supplier diversity professions. So once again, once you join our network, you can connect with other WBEs as well as the supplier diversity and procurement professionals who represent our corporate members. We have different doing business with corporate events. We actually have a couple coming up this month and next month where you get firsthand knowledge from their supplier diversity team, procurement team, and you can hear what it is they're looking for, what you need to submit in order to be considered for their bid opportunities, and how to know about their bid opportunities um, kind of first before they get out towards the public. That's very beneficial when you are going after those contracts. And on the flip side, we provide different development opportunities and events and training opportunities so that when you do go after those bids, the the corporates know that hey, they're part of WeBank ORV, they're part of WeBank. I know that they can do this job and they can exceed the expectations when going after these contracts. And then we'll go on a little bit more. I'm not going to read every bullet point, but also a part of the programs that we provide, you can get a mentor or kind of get a protege, become a protege for people within our organization. Um, Once again, it's all about community on both sides, going after those contracts and having good faith in you all that they know that you can exceed expectations. And again, vendor registration process, buyer contacts, purchasing timelines, purchasing process, invitation only, corporate events for supplier diversities, and refer other corporations that need your product and service. So this just goes all under being the supplier diversity professional, being an advocate for you all, for the women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses. Like I said earlier, it's in their best interest to work with you all. They want to work with you all, but not only that, they want you all to succeed. And these are just some of the things that they do to make sure that you all succeed once you go after these contracts and retain the contracts. So these are some important points just to remember. They don't always make the sourcing decisions. So you can meet these supplier diversity and procurement professionals, make these contacts, absolutely, but they might not always be the ones to make the decision on whether or not you'll get a contract or not. So just keep that in mind. But again, it's always great to have that connection. Know their business and their market prior to reaching out to them. It's very important to do your research on the company, on the person, what role they have, who are the key decision makers at that organization, and how do you get in contact with them in the best way possible. Always register as a vendor on their supplier diversity programs. They have different links. Different corporates have portals that they use to filter women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, and you always want to make sure you're registered in those portals so that you can be considered. Um, I know a lot of times they use a filter. So say if you're in the retail space and they need a retail vendor, they're going to go to that filter and see, oh, who all do they have that fits under that. and you want to be considered. So make sure you're in there. Establish a relationship and get to gain their advocacy. Like I said earlier, making those connections and networking is very important. And also, you want to be persistent, but you want to be pleasant. So follow up, but don't be too pestering, but do it in a strategic and professional way as well. And also authentic. You want to be yourself, be professional, and make sure you can get a good, genuine relationship going with the supplier diversity partner. So when it is time for them to advocate, they will be able to do that genuinely. And then stay away from the what's in it for me mentality. I think this goes back to being genuine in how you're going about these relationship building. Any questions so far? Okay. Now we're going to go to the fun part, maximizing your certification, and I'm going to hand it off to Kathy Stafford, and she can give some insight into how she's maximized her certification over the years. Okay, Kathy?
Hey, well, first of all, I want to say good on you for showing up today. I think that says a lot about you and you being willing to invest in yourself and your company. So, and taking the time to do this because it is really important. And I'm going to say, um, as you know, in business, a lot of it's showing up and being there. And Catherine said that. So, good on you for being there. And what we're seeing on these PowerPoints are not just words. These are tools that you can put in your tool belt. And I am here to testify. I can just tell you that is the truth. I didn't know anything about supplier diversity. My former husband and I owned a business together. I got divorced, started my own company. And when I went to our local chamber meeting, it's called Commerce Lexington here, they were talking about supplier diversity. I'd never heard about it. And so I made an appointment to meet with the director, and he gave me 3 people to go see. He told me what it was. He gave me 3 people to go see. And I went to see all 3, and I'm doing business with all 3 of them today. And, so I followed up. So make sure you're following up. But the first one that I went to visit, which is a power company in our state, they said, we would be happy to do business with you, but you need to get certified. Um, And I said, I didn't even know about certification, what to do, where to go. And they said, well, there are several agencies, but I'm going to give you the one that we know is the most credible certifying agency and most widely accepted certification in the United States. And that is, they gave me WBENC. And so I got certified this year I'll be certified 20 years, and I'm the longest active certified WBE in our area. So and that's not like brag on me, but I say that to say it has been so valuable to me that I have just stayed with it and have gotten so much support, so much. I've learned so much from other people just like you all, being with you all in places, and whether it's the Catch the Wave or just a local event, meetups, and getting on these webinars and just getting involved. So anyway, that's my my 2 cents, but, um, let me I'm gonna follow what we have here so I don't take us all down I don't take us down a lot of roads we don't need to go down today, but, we're talking about, the first point is, leveraging your WBE status as a marketing tool. I use it as a marketing tool, but I don't feel like I'm entitled to anything because I'm a WBE, but I do have it on everything. I have it on my website, as you all probably do as well, my signature, my business card, my everything that goes out. When I got certified or when I get recertified, I do a press release because it is a big deal. And the process of getting certified, you all know, um, it's not hard. It's just work. And not much comes easy, as you know, period, in this world. If it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. So there is a WeBank proprietary database. Make sure you're in that database. You will have, if you're certified, you will also have access to a directory of corporate contacts through WeBank link. I mean, that is amazing because if you all have ever been on that little treasure hunt of trying to find who to get to, it's not so easy. Um, and of course, it does later on say what I just said about featuring the WeBank seal. And if you are not certified and you're thinking of becoming certified, when you are certified and you get on the WeBank link, the logo's right there, and you can the seal, and you can use it to put on your materials. Um, I, and again, as I said, I think it's very important to network. You know, this is kind of corny, but you've heard, you know, your net worth is your network. I mean, it's who you know. I mean, people that know you, they're the ones that want to do business with you. So I try to make myself known, um, not only through our best practices in business, but through service and showing up. Um, so you can gain recognition and award opportunities through engagement. And this year, yes, I did get the Rising Star Award, but uh, I have received 4 times and unprecedented 4 times before that uh, throughout the years, Women's Business Advocate for our region, because I advocate heavily for women here and help women, mentor women that are interested and just willing to come alongside and walk with people through just the challenges that we face day to day as business owners. Um, so you're going to get access to business development and training opportunities. You're going to get communications about bid opportunities, which is really awesome, and inclusion related events. And notice this is relevant to small businesses. And I will say, last year I got an email talking about the Energy Executive Summit, and it was hosted by Chevron, Exxon, Shell, and BP, and it was in Houston, Texas. And you just had to make a 3-minute video, send it in, and they told us over 300 something people had applied for that, and they selected 50. I had the opportunity to go, and I got to get in front of all of the procurement people, and they were really great and gave us a lot of FaceTime, brought us right in their facilities with all those major corporations. That would have never happened had I not been certified through WeBank. They wanted certified WBEs, and they partner with WeBank on this event annually. So and I had a great cohort. And then I want to go back just a little bit. We're talking about government spend. Do you all know who the largest purchaser of goods? Does anyone have any idea? You can jump in. The largest purchaser of goods and services in the entire world is? Anyone have a clue? You can put it in the chat. You can.
The government?
Yep, United States federal government. A lot of people want to say Walmart. That's what people really want to say. But I would say take advantage of that. You know, if you're in this area, I mean, in Kentucky, Fort Knox is right here in Kentucky, or even if you're near, and they have moved all of their procurement services. This is a little something I learned, but I'm glad to share it with you all. They've moved it all right there to Fort Knox. So they have civilian and military people that are there. So we do business with the federal government that way. So okay, let's move on to the next slide. All right. So I'd already covered the business card stationery, any brochures, any electronic communication you send out. I think invoices is one I left off. And then, of course, on your social media in particular, if you're not on LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn, because I find when I go in, I get notices regularly, and you probably do too, that, 50 people searched you out today, or 5 people searched you out today. So make sure that's on there, because people are looking for companies like ours to do business with. Okay, so as I said, the logo is available and you can see it right there. And you can also, I think there's one that's just a 1-color logo if you want to imprint it on your business cards or whatever. So it's not so expensive. And I know a lot of people are going, to electronic business cards, but it is available. and it is relevant for retail products, so business and consumer focused. And I don't know if any of you have been out, but I was out. I can't even remember where I was, and it. Uh, I bought something. I can't, and it had. I think it was a water bottle, and it had this We Big seal on it. So produced by, a woman-owned business, certified through Weebing. So that was really cool to see. Um, and I use that logo on products. If you do hard goods and you're sending packages out, get it on there, or a hang tag for clothing. Or if you're doing produce, I've seen it on produce as well. Um, use it. Um, and get added to women-owned directory or featured in blogs. And the women-owned logo, as I said earlier, and Catherine, sorry, I got ahead of myself. I get so excited. Uh, is on the WeBink link 2.0. Kristen has a question. Yes.
Good afternoon or good morning, still. Thank you for taking the time to share with us. But I did have a quick question. So we're recently certified. My name is Kristen Bailey. I own Sweets and Meats Barbecue in Cincinnati, Ohio. And we did our certification through the city and the state. So we did not go through WeBank, but I'm trying to get more involved with WeBank. And I don't know if this would be the right time to ask the question, but I've seen the logo that you're showing used, and that is just for national certification, correct?
Catherine, that's for, well, no, that's for that's for certification period. So
Okay.
we are part of, we call 'em RPOs, which is regional partnering organizations. So if you're certified through our our RPO, that logo is available to you. And um, so, yeah.
Just wanted to make sure I was using it correctly. Like when you said to start putting, put it on different marketing materials and such, because we don't have the national certification. I just wanted to make sure that we are communicating correctly. And I am looking into the national certification because, like I said, I want to get more involved. I just don't think for my business, we would do business outside of Ohio and Kentucky.
Right. And there's a lot of business in Ohio and Kentucky. But
Oh,
this is, it's, uh, Kevin, feel free to jump in, but this is a national, I mean, this is nationally accepted, your certification through our particular RPO.
mhm. That's correct. So as Kathy said, once you get certified, no matter which RPO you get certified under, you since you're in Cincinnati, had to come through our umbrella. It is nationally recognized. So um, I know you said you primarily do business in Cincinnati, but for instance, what if a company in Michigan or Indiana wanted to use your services? Now they know you're certified and it's nationally recognized. They're outside of our region, but not far and still recognize that certification as well.
Good
Thank
question. Did we answer your question, Kristen?
you. Um, not really, but I don't want to like divert the call by any means. I'm just a little confused, like because I went through the state of Ohio and not WeBank, if
I,
it's recognized the same, I guess, or if I need to get certified again through WeBank on top of my other certifications.
I see. So, okay, you're talking about the state of Ohio. Okay, we understood you to say you got certified through us, WeBank ORV. But it sounds like you went through. We have an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, with the state of Ohio and city of Columbus that fast tracks your certification. Is that what you're referring to?
I apologize. So we went through MBAC, like the Minority Business Assistance Center, in Cincinnati,
Uh huh.
and then they helped us to like upload all the documents for the state of Ohio. But because I'm not currently a member of WeBank, I'm trying to join WeBank, but like I don't know if I'd have to recertify to do that or if like there's reciprocity, as you mentioned.
Yes. Okay, thank you. That makes sense. There is reciprocity through the state of Ohio and the city of Cincinnati. So if you could drop your information in the chat, and I can get someone from our certification team to connect with you about fast tracking certification if that's something you're interested in.
Thank you. Yeah, because I just want to make sure, to everyone's point on the call, like I know this is a tremendous opportunity, but I want to make sure I'm marketing the correct way and then also maximizing our potential by attending some of the events and things like that.
Absolutely. And again, that was a great question. So thank you.
And you're doing your homework. I like that.
Yes, yes, she is.
Okay. All right. Sweets and meats. I love that name. Sounds good. I'm kind of getting hungry. Uh, all right. Can we go to the next screen then? Unless we have any, do we have any other questions? No? Okay. All right. Okay. So the WeBank Link 2.0 is the marketing tool. So we've covered this, and I'm going to just say it again. You know, you can identify corporate and supplier diversity contacts not only locally, but we just answered that. You're going to have be able to do that nationally. I don't know where you are in your company or how, for me, I started with $1,000 in my laundry room. I grew my company incrementally, didn't try to take on anything. I know we're not asking for business advice. This is certification, but it's my story. So we chose. I knew I didn't want to, I didn't want to get a large account and not be able to take care of it and tank myself, so I made sure that whatever we took on, that we had the human resources and we had the capital. We operate our company with no debt. So anyway, but you do have access to the national contacts, which is incredibly helpful. And then it helps you identify WBEs across the country for potential partnerships and business opportunities. And sometimes you do, you are able to partner with other WBEs on opportunities that you might not have everything in at your company that you do that they need. So the national excuse me. So I'm seeing the question from Chelsea to everyone. So you access the directory through the WeBank link 2.0, and that's what we're talking about. That's where the directory is. You are so welcome. Okay, so and when you go in that link, make sure your profile is complete. And on the NAICS codes and keywords, I'm going to say on those NAISC codes, make sure you go through that and really scroll through there carefully and make sure, because in my business, there's one code, but then there are other things that are totally related to what I do. So we've got a whole list of them. So make sure you get those in there, because when companies search, sometimes, companies do things many different ways, but they might be just looking for someone with a particular code. So make sure that's all complete. And annually, when you recertify, go in and check your profile and make sure everything's updated. Next slide. Okay. So you're able to download corporate contacts in the WeBank link. You're able to check the RPO, which is our regional, which is WeBank ORV, for regional corporate members. You're able to build your prospecting list, check websites for inclusion goals and/or diversity initiatives, complete companies, targeted companies, vendor, supplier profile. And I would do that before you ever contact a company, because when you contact someone, and I'm sure many of you that are on here have done that, and what's the first question you get? Have you gone in and registered in our portal? So make sure you do that. And I did work with companies that have tier 2 programs. So I'm a tier 2 to a lot of, I'm a tier 2 to someone that I'm even a tier 1 to. So and consider the opportunities to do business or partner with other WBEs. I do a lot of business with other WBEs that I met. My product in particular, what I do, everybody can use it. So obviously, I think they should use me. uh, so partner with others. I really work to do that within my network. And as I mentioned early on, participate in your local, regional, and national inclusion events. They are so rich. And it's so amazing to be, I mean, sometimes you just, at the top, for me personally, I can just feel like the Lone Ranger out there. And, or it's lonely at the top. And it's really, really nice to rub elbows with and just talk to and connect with other business owners. And I get as much from that piece of it as I do from the business contacts that I make. I really love that piece of it. Okay, do your homework. That was uh, okay. So, what's the level of commitment to supplier diversity and inclusion? You want to see if do they have full-time dedicated supplier diversity staff? Is there a process for suppliers to register as vendors online? I go and look at that myself. May not be available online. You may have to reach out to someone to ask that. Um, do they have a supplier diversity statement or goals on their websites? Do they hold supplier diversity events? And what's the overall company's culture and values? So those are really good things to know when you go to meet with someone, or if there's someone that you're really targeting. When I started my company, I made a list. I had a list of people that I wanted to do business with. And it probably had 20 people on it. That was my first, I don't call it hit list, sounds violent. I don't mean that way, but it was a list for me to go to. And many of those people we were able to um, bring on as customers. We feel like we're partners for our customers, and we have been able to retain them all this time. So, yeah. All right, next. Okay, once you've shown them that you've done your homework, ask about the procurement process. Is it centralized or decentralized? And this is a point where I don't ever make a phone call. In fact, I've got a pen and paper here right now that I do not take notes. So make sure you're making good notes. We have some major Fortune 5 companies that we do business with that it's surprising that their purchasing is not centralized. So they've got offices and people that buy all over the country. So look at that. And then you can also, this is a really good question too, because I think that there's a misconception, and rightfully so, because it is the case oftentimes that, okay, we're just going to go with who has the cheapest price. And I like to kind of go back a little bit and say how'd that work for you. But ask the basis of their decisions for your product or service. And cost might not be the only priority. In fact, I'm working on an RFP right now that we're submitting today that a company knew about us, or I don't know how they heard about us, or if they got us off the WBENC. I don't know how they heard about us. And they've asked us to submit. But on their criteria for evaluation, I mean, experience, our references, our doing businesses with handling projects that are like this project, those are the priority. Cost is not the main thing in it. So, but we also, we temper all that with being very cost. We keep that in mind because we know that is important to companies and businesses. Chelsea, are we able to receive a copy of this present? Oh, that's a Catherine. You answered that, Chelsea.
Yes, yes, we will be sending out a recording of today's session, so it'll have all the PowerPoint and commentary in there for you.
Perfect. Okay, and then make sure you ask. I mean, this sounds like business 101, but you can't believe how many people don't do these things that we're covering here. So make sure you ask for the name and contact information of the buyer for your commodity. And ask if there's an upcoming bid opportunity. I always do that. When I go, particularly when I go, well, just like at the last Catch the Wave, we had a lot of big corporates there. And so they would say, you know, this is under contract now. And then I'll ask, what do you ever buy? Do you have a smaller purchases like 10,000, 20,000 under whatever off contract? And if they're on contract, I find out when it's coming up for renewal. And then I just looked over, I have a stand-up folder here that prompts me to reach out to them months before it comes up for renewal, because we know that process of submitting an RFP can be protracted. Ask if, yeah, so ask them, okay. And ask if there are any tier 2 opportunities. So are you all familiar with tier 2 opportunities? So you might be the person that supplies directly to Toyota. I'm just going to use Toyota as an example. And Toyota requires their tier 1s to meet diversity goals. So they, in turn, say it's the company that does the windshields or that does the backup cameras or whatever. They, in turn, have to report their spend with Toyota. So if I supply the windshield company a good or goods or services, and I am certified through WBENC, they can report that toward their spend. So not only are the direct purchases, but indirect like this, tier 2 opportunities are really, really great out there. So don't overlook those. We have another one. Okay. Catch the Wave regional conference. So this is an annual event. It's hosted by WBENC ORV. Let's see, were we in Columbus last year? This year? This in 23? I think
In
that's
23, we were in Columbus, but this year, 24, we're going to be in Cincinnati.
awesome.
Mhm.
Really, really central. It has approximately 500 plus attendees. And there are it's a regional networking focus. You will see both, there are corporate and WBE workshops. I love the workshops. If you go get in those workshops, you will learn so much. Oh my goodness. There's a business pitch breakfast, and then we have award recognition. We have speakers that are always at the luncheons, and the keynote for the dinner is always just, they're so motivating and encouraging. So make sure if you go, that you hit those notes when you do go, and I would encourage you to go. Next. Okay, so WBENC forum representatives offer programming from a national lens. Our forum leaders share with our RPO. So each RPO has, I don't know how many we have. Do we have 3, 4? How many forum leaders do we have in our? But I don't know.
I was gonna say we have upwards of 10. It's
10.
really
Okay.
no
Okay.
limit to the number.
All right. And so they share with us relevant, in-depth business strategies to enhance the growth of your business. And they learn from our WBENC representatives as they educate WBEs on the impact our national committees have on a local level. So you want to move to the next one? Oh, other regional events, women winning contracts, industry-specific events, corporate member supplier diversity events all across the region. One of them, well, it's not here now. It was for years, because I'm continuing to use Toyota, had their corporate, in Northern Kentucky. So it was always in Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area. It was in Cincinnati, usually the Duke Energy Center, the places close by. But when, these corporations put on these large events, they require their tier 1s to show up. And there's where you get great opportunities, not only to meet the corporations, representatives from the corporations hosting, but those tier 2s. Okay, ORV Business Development Program 2.0. So it is for it's a capacity building program for growth oriented WBE. Some of you may want to grow, some may not. And it is in partnership with Victoria's Secret in Columbus, and the minimum requirements of 2 years in business and 500 in annual revenue. Maximum of 10 certified WEs participate in each class. And is this current information? I think it is. Is this current information, Catherine?
So we are working on revamping ORV BDP program. This is going to be from last year. So last
Okay, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
year, Victoria's Secret, and they went through it the top of 2023 through August, and they had their graduation ceremony at our Catch the Wave conference. So we are
You know,
revamping that for this year, but we this is something that we will be continuing, and we will rotate with different corporates. So could be with P&G, could be with Fifth Third, Victoria's Secret, any of our corporate members within our region.
okay. By the way, we're really our goal. I serve on our steering committee with our RPO, and our goal is to make it 100 corporates, and we're really pushing. I think we're about 85 to 89 now. I just heard our last steering committee meeting, so that's really amazing. The people that partner with us. Um, okay, next slide. Webinars. There are monthly WBE onboarding webinars. There's a quarterly maximizing your certification webinar like today, annual Catch the Wave conference prep webinar, and monthly WBENC 2.0 webinars. Okay, RPO engagement, and this is not an all-inclusive list. So we have the Catch the Wave you can sponsor, and their sponsorship levels are not expensive, and it's really great to get your name out in front of a lot of people. You can be a presenter. You can volunteer if you don't have the cash. I mean, put some skin in the game. You can show up. I mean, you can sign up and show up and help volunteer, and very high visibility. Whenever I volunteer, people at the conference always want to come to me and ask me, and they think I know everything about everything. And so it's kind of fun, but if I don't know, I do find them an answer. Submission of company articles, awards, press releases to be featured in the bi-monthly newsletter. So if there's anything about you, you could submit that's happening, or award, or anything that you've won. You can submit those for the newsletter, which is another way to get your name in front of people. Committee involvement, which I've mentioned a little bit of that. I serve on the certification review committee. I have been on that almost since I started after I was certified, and we have programming, marketing, communication, and corporate engagement. So you have lots. There's always a seat at the table if you're interested. And then also you can do in-kind donations for RPO events, whatever it is that we have happening. You can offer in-kind donations of your services or products. Okay. RPO engagement. Okay. So there are several different awards, which one, of course, it's a Rising Star, which I just got, and it's for someone it doesn't mean that you're new. It means that you have been committed to helping other women business owners and intend to continue help with them. So I got that for our area at our Catch the Wave conference last fall. Very humbly honored. I was shocked. I wept. And my person from my office was with me, didn't feel great that night. So she'd gone up to the room and wasn't at the dinner. And I'm like, I brought you all the way here and I got this, and now you're not even here. It wouldn't matter. We just kind of laughed about it. But anyway, we have the Trailblazer Award recipient, and that's like the main big award that they give to someone that has been in business established, that I don't have a comprehensive definition of what this includes, but it's really an amazing award, and you end up being on the cover of the Catch the Wave conference magazine, and there's a great article about you and your company. They show a video. You have an opportunity to speak at the main dinner that night. So really, really great. The Tuck WeBank Executive Program, our RPO nominates for that. In the Goldman Sachs Small Business Program, Babson College, our RPO does a nomination for that as well. But if you do have interest, I say reach out to Catherine, and she can tell you more about those two programs. I don't know how much time we have. I'm looking, I don't see my clock here, but or if you have questions, ask now if we have time. But reach out and find out more about those. So I'm glad. There we go. Oh, that's great.
Awesome. Congratulations, Kristen. That's
Yeah.
an excellent program, the 10,000 Small Business.
That is great. Congratulations. Wow. All right. Do we have anything else? We do. National Conference and Business Fair. So we have our annual event where you have the opportunity to be a WBE, which is our annual, conference, and it is you have the opportunity to exhibit. There are over 350 exhibitors. There are more than 4,500 WBEs and corporate, as well as corporate and government attendees. National networking, and occurs every year in June.
Well, they actually switched it up on us. So this year it's going to be in March in Denver, the WeBank National Conference. So if you are interested in going, like Kathy said, there's a lot to take in at the national conference. So highly recommend that. And you can really get a feel for the national organization as a whole, like who all makes up WeBank. So it's really great to see a lot of high energy as well.
Yeah, and if you're a company that does business with the government or higher education, the end of their fiscal year is June. It's my busiest year of the month, and we don't allow any employees to be off. So I was so happy when they moved it to March. Okay. So the WeBank Forum, expand your network. So the forum is open to all certified WBEs. Forum leadership opportunities and appointments are available once you're certified. There are WBE connections, learning opportunities, collaboration, and partnering. Just the same thread that we've heard going throughout this whole webinar. Again, if there's anything, reach out to Catherine. And I just want to really, again, thank you. But more than that, I want to commend you for investing time in yourself and participating and giving me the opportunity to talk to you today. And I just wish you all well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kathy. Do you all have any questions for Kathy or myself that we can answer for you? We still have a few minutes left. It looks like Kristen, you have your hand raised. So you can go ahead and ask.
Yes, I have a question. So I have really struggled with the bid process on, and you kind of mentioned that in your presentation, but I have found that in Cincinnati, they always go with the least cost bid, which is really frustrating because as a certified woman-owned business, like we really want them to truly support minority and women-owned businesses, not just go with a cheap option. And it's hard to overcome that. Like I'm really good with overcoming objections, but I've had it happen multiple times, and especially with government. They've even asked us like if we did accommodate and say lower our costs by as much as 20% to try to earn their trust and earn that piece of business. The next time they're asking for an additional 25% above and beyond the previous discount, saying that they are a repeat customer, they want an additional discount. Is there anything that you can do to push back? Obviously, we're not getting that business because we don't want to be the cheapest, like we're serving a quality product and we don't want to, jeopardize our quality. But at the same time, it's happened multiple times. It's happened with transit in Cincinnati. It's happened with
Mhm.
local and city government. It's happened with the post office. I want to use this as an advantage, but it's just become really frustrating. And so I'm interested to hear like feedback on maybe how you overcome the pricing objection or other ways that you can be a value add so that they're not just strictly looking at that.
Absolutely. I will say it's not just Cincinnati, it's everywhere. It's part of the process. Um, and I have to really, it took me a while, and this is not what I'm saying is your case, but I'm just gonna tell you my experience in the beginning was it took me a while to hit the seam to win awards and contracts. And one of the things, Kristen, that I did do, and particularly when you're working with government, I always do an open records request and I look at the contracts they're awarding and I look at what they award them for. That's one of the things I do as far as doing my homework. I keep that too. I keep that for if it's, you know, 3, 5 years late down the road. I keep that and I look at back and look at what they did. I want the bid tallies. I want to see where I landed with the others. And then I evaluate and make a decision, is the juice worth the squeeze to give up some margin? Because sometimes there's a little give and take, and if I'm willing to give up a little margin to get it, I know they want me in my services because I'm really good at what I do. Our team is really, I love our team. And so um, I have found that by being willing to do that, now I'm not, I can't give it all away. We're a business. We're not a nonprofit, and my company supports a lot of families. And so I was like, juice ain't worth the squeeze on it. I'll say no. And then when they'll come back and ask me to give an additional discount, or will they ask me to do something that really is like, they've already drained the blood from me. So what's left? I'm not giving them, you know. And so I'll say no politely. I'll say, while really, we are extremely interested in partnering with you um, and being a great partner. Um, this is not something that our company is. This is not something we're. Um, I try to soften the words so however that we will do. And I tell them no, and guess what? They'll come back. They still want me sometimes. So it's just every company's different, and there's no one magic thing. But yeah, I it's a very common thing. But I will say that honestly, from being willing to go a little bit less. And even those contracts, if you read, I don't know yours, but some of them they allow to ask for a price increase. And we go in and we ask for those price increases. And we're not gouging people. We do we give a best value bid. So as renewal comes up, sometimes say, 90 days before renewal, make sure you can ask for that. So I ask for that. And I look at when I'm getting, I will tell you, I use verbiage from when I'm doing the open records. I get the previous RFPs, I get the renewals on RFPs, and I look at their verbiage on what they ask for with that specific entity on getting a price increase, and I use that same verbiage.
No, I
I don't know.
really appreciate that. I just, yeah, I mean, they're very upfront that they're just going to go with the cheapest option. And I don't know. But I will do some more research to look at the records request for sure. That's a gold nugget.
Yeah, and you know what? You might find out that you were the cheapest and you still didn't give it. So then you can go in and you can file a protest or whatever, I'm not suggesting anybody go in and stir up. You don't want to be bad, but you can certainly question it. I did an RFP for someone here locally, and where they ask, what I do is in printed goods. So they would ask, what do you charge for a second, third, or fourth color? And one person wrote in every single blank, it depends, it depends, it depends. And they didn't even put on there a price. And I'm saying, how can you have a contract with no pricing? So anyway, yeah. And
Awesome.
if cheap is all they want, cheap ain't all I got. So, then we put all of our energy into the next project.
Great insight. Thank you for that question, Kristen, and for your insight, Kathy. It looks like Lucretia has her hand raised.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Lucretia Williams, President and CEO of Distinct Event Planning. We provide event planning and event design for corporate, nonprofit, and social events. I want to piggyback on what Kathy was saying first, and then I have my original question. I have also too run into the instances where they just want whoever is cheaper. What I have discovered is that I have built my brand up to the point where we're not just going to take it just because it's available. I have to think about my staff, payroll, taxes, and everything, all the other operating expenses that we have within a company to make me decide if it's something I'm going to want to accept. Because here's what I've noticed. A lot of people in my industry specifically will just take it just because it's a job. The thing about that though is I don't ever want anyone to think they hired me and got a deal. Like you're going to get the best event planner, event designer in this country, but you're not going to get the cheapest when you come with us. I spent tens of thousands of dollars on the education of myself and my staff every year for us to take bids that are worth $4,000 and $5,000, but yet we're providing $25,000 worth of service. So I know for me, when I get the bid, if I know going in, they're just looking for the cheapest, there's so many I have just walked away from because that's just not who we are. We've put too much time and too much effort into what we do in order for me to be known as the cheaper planner, the cheaper event planning company. Willa Marie Jackson is on the line with us too. That's my director of operations. She knows that's how we operate. We're never going to be the cheapest. And I'm not interested in being the cheapest. I'm interested in giving you the best service you can possibly find from an event planner and event design company. So I want to just piggyback on what Kathy said about, sometimes it's okay just to walk away.
And then one thing I'll add to that is, I'm not going to pay you to do business with you because essentially, if you do that, you're paying them to do business with them. I'm like, wait a minute, I need to get paid. But anyway, sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
Exactly. And what I have found in my industry, because we are service based, we don't have products. It's very difficult sometimes for companies to put a dollar amount on your level of service because they don't understand behind the scenes what goes on. Typically, it'll take us up to 500 hours to plan a corporate event. That's a one-day event, just one day. 500 plus hours for our team to do that. And so they think they walk in, it's a conference. Oh, this is good. Oh, okay. Well, we want to hire you and charge you $10,000. No, ma'am, no, sir. You don't understand the level of hours that are behind the scenes of what we do. You just walk in and see that an event had happened. So there's a lot of education that I tend to have to do when I am talking with someone, when you're able to talk to someone about a bid. There's a lot of education that I have to do that they just don't understand. Because a lot of people think that I have access to Google and access to Pinterest. Oh, I can plan an event. It does not work like that. Not on the level of the service of event planning that we do, right? And we're in the industry where you don't have to have any form of degree or certification. You can wake up tomorrow and be an event planner and it's okay. But we have 5 certifications under our belt. We take our jobs very, very seriously. And the level of service that we provide, we're just not going to sell it for cheap. So I'm going to jump off that soapbox and get to my question. So this was a good call, but I am very visual. And what will be helpful when you all are giving us information about how to use the WBENC 2.0 link is to provide visuals. If you all can get on have your website open and kind of walking us through what it looks like, because I'm in my WBENC 2.0 link right now, and I don't see where I go to find the corporate members and how to, their websites in order for me to apply to be a possible vendor for them. So when you are walking through this, you're giving us a lot of content, but because me being visual, it will be very helpful if you all had like the WBENC link 2.0 up and kind of walk us through how to use the platform.
That's great feedback. Thank you. And we will definitely take that, Catherine, take that to heart and look at and see how we could improve on that, because you're investing your time and we want you to get the most you can get out of it.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
We have any other questions? Questions, comments, anything? No? Okay. Well, wonderful. I just want to say thank you all again for joining us today. And thank you for your engagement and your excellent questions. Thank you, Kathy, for being our presenter today. You gave some very valuable information. So thank you all. We really appreciate you joining us this morning or now afternoon to learn more about how to maximize your certification. I would just do a shameless plug. If you are not already connected with our newsletter, we definitely recommend getting subscribed because we send out a lot of different email blasts with information and upcoming events. And also, please go to our website to keep track of our upcoming events. We have a lot on the schedule this year and this month, really. So we would love to see you all again very soon.
Absolutely. And one last thing, there's a WOSB certification, which is Women Owned Small Business. That's what the United States federal government accepts. So if you're certifying for one, get certified for both. If you want to do business with the federal government. So anyway, sorry. All right, guys.
question.
Thank you.
I have one last question for the WBENC or contact. I'm sorry. What is your name?
Me, my name is Catherine Macon. I am the,
Catherine.
yes, marketing and communications manager here at WBENC ORV.
Perfect. I am registered to attend the national conference. Is there, I've seen where you all have had it before, like webinars on how to prepare for the conference. Is that going to be coming out soon?
I believe that will be coming out. It will come out from national, but
Okay.
once I get that information as well, I'll send it out to our network in
Thank
addition.
you. Thank you.
No problem. Not a problem. All right. Well, thank you all again for your time, and you all have a wonderful day and wonderful rest of the week.
Thank you. Thank you all.